And we're back after an exhaustive conversation, judging. I mean, we did research, we watched movies, we analyzed, we rolled die, we did all kinds of things to try to figure out this answer. And this is the way it's breaking down. All right, so in our first battle, or our first rounds of things, let me just give it to you in the rounds, and then we'll tell you who won after those things after we get them all out. Okay, so the first battle that we have looking at is Hannibal Lecter versus Trick or Treat Sam. We also have Predator versus The Thing. We have Chucky versus Riddick. Jason versus Leatherface. We have Freddy versus Freddy, which is funny the way that rolled out. But obviously we're picking the two different Freddys. We've got, God, I just lost his name all over again.
Robert Englund.
Thank you. Robert Englund versus Jackie Early. Take that as you will. And then we have Killer Tomatoes versus Killer Clowns, Xenomorphs versus Mike Myers, and Mrs. Voorhees versus Max Cady. And these were some good ones. I think there are some that overall, in terms of conversation, funny. In terms of movies, a couple of them I would absolutely watch. Just because.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hannibal Lecter versus Trick or Treat Sam. This one was complicated because Sam has a supernatural aspect to him. He doesn't seem to be able to die, but you brought out a really good point. What we've never seen is Sam being eaten.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Hannibal Lecter would have done.
He absolutely would, especially because once Sam takes his mask off, his head is a pumpkin, and I can think of all kinds of recipes that Hannibal Lecter would know to put that together.
With a nice Chianti.
Oh, yes! So we have Hannibal Lecter taking that spot. Next, we have The Predator versus The Thing. And that's just an amazing movie waiting to be made. Now, I love your answer for this because it is so perfect. These are two characters that use camouflage very, very well.
Yeah.
With the Predator, it's a matter of invisibility. With the Thing, it's literally doppelgangering something. So what happens is if the Predator suddenly thinks it's hunting a predator and doesn't realize that, no, there's a little extra feature here. What you so very wonderfully pointed out, though, is that Predator tends to go hot with his weaponry, his attacks. And if he's losing, he goes hotter than hot by blowing himself up. And as we saw, the only thing that really seems to stop the Thing is cold. So unless Predator switches gears and suddenly takes the Mr. Freeze approach, dead in the water, dead in the jungle, dead in the city.
Yeah, and I've never have seen a Predator learn from its mistakes.
Yes. But this is one of those mistake times when it's too late.
Yeah,
it's absolutely too late. Okay, so then we have with the Chucky versus Riddick. Listen, Vin Diesel was cool. He was very cool. He turned that momentary showcase into an entire franchise. Mm-hmm. Good for him. Chucky wins. Okay.
And I don't think Riddick knew what he was getting into. Anyway.
He definitely
He just picked it up as it's a doll. A
Ring,
doll with a knife.
ring.
Stab. You're gone.
He barely saw it. That's the thing. It was sitting there in the
Yep.
daytime. He didn't understand what he was looking at. He thought it was just a toy until it turned around and looked at him and stabbed him.
Yep.
And that's the end of Riddick. Jason versus Leatherface. Now, I know some hardcore Friday the 13th fans that are going to be like, yes, Jason all the way. He's supernatural. He can come back from the dead. His weapon of choice is a little single action.
Yep.
A machete is dangerous. It's definitely dangerous. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You can clear a forest. You can do all kinds of things. But it takes swinging every time. Leatherface uses a chainsaw. Which is a very large chainsaw. Yes. And it just be on, right?
Yep.
And literally, he's got a delicacy with his skill set. I mean, he's cutting faces off, presumably with the chainsaw. So dude's a surgeon with it. But as we saw in the movie, even cutting off his own leg didn't stop him from trying to come get you. So while Jason might be supernatural, Leatherface is determined. Mm-hmm. And so Leatherface wins. Sorry, guys, if you disagree with that one. Let's see. We're going to go between the two Freddys. Robert Englund. Let's come on. Let's
enough said. Let's go on.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Killer Tomatoes versus Killer Clowns. I was torn. I'm not going to lie to you. This one is such a fun, sort of ridiculous moment in horror history. But you made a really good point. The thing that puts Killer Clowns above the Tomatoes is that they're from outer space.
Yep.
So their limitations are going to be whatever, as opposed to something that's built in a lab. However, the Killer Tomatoes, though, I think they get at least 2 or 3 of them. I feel like somebody's gonna pick up a tomato thinking that it's a nose, and that person's God. Like it's just
That's actually a pretty good way to go. I would watch that.
see.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have Xenomorphs versus Mike Myers. You know, Mike is a good killer, right? He's very, very methodical, very slow, patient. The problem is Mike likes to stab things, and he's up close when he does it. And Xenomorphs bleed acid. So even if Mike gets one first, he dies harder.
Yep.
And so
He's
Xenomorphs
done.
win. Yeah. Mrs. Voorhees versus Max Cady. Now, I mean, Mrs. Voorhees, she put in some work. She put in some really good work.
Yeah, and no one knew it was her.
That's true.
Everyone thought it was, it was
literally
Jason.
thought it was Jason.
Yeah.
Right. And come to find out, she's hallucinating. She's seeing her son.
Yeah.
She's killing people. Max Cady was a problem from the very beginning. We knew he was a problem.
Yep.
And still killed a whole bunch of people.
Yep.
Before he got to the lake. What did he call him? What did he call Nick Nolte? Was his job? Was he a senator? What was he? Was
was he a lawyer?
It was something like that.
Called him like counselor. Or
Oh, I think it was counselor.
Yeah.
Counselor. Like that's unnerving. Absolutely unnerving. So we have Max Cady going for the win on that one. Just because I think not only would he do it, he probably would enjoy it too. And that's really like the scary part.
Yeah.
So yes. Okay. So coming off of that round, we have Hannibal Lecter versus The Thing. With all due respect to the good doctor.
He had a good run.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. But
He was just out of his element.
Yeah, you can only eat so much,
Yeah.
okay? And this thing bites back.
Yep.
So The Thing takes that one. Chucky versus Leatherface. Leatherface got a win off on a supernatural person. Charles ain't it though.
No.
No. Worst case scenario, Chucky like beats Leatherface, does the ritual, and becomes Leatherface, and now he's taller and has a a weapon that doesn't run out of batteries.
Or they just become best of friends.
Oh, that's just dark.
And then he stabs him later. Anyway.
But they like it, like they stab each other for
Yeah.
fun. Ew. So yes, we got Chucky winning that one. We've got Freddy versus the Killer Clowns. This bore some discussion. One, do we see the Killer Clowns sleep? And if they do they dream? Because that's the only way that really Freddy has an opportunity to come get them. Now, I like to think that they have a bit of a cartoonish side. So even if they went to sleep and they encountered Freddy, they would have just as much of a dream masterly type thing. But Freddy's funnier. Like he really
It's also
is.
where Freddy lives.
Exactly.
So
like
he
that's
knows
his
how to
his place.
manipulate it better.
Exactly.
And he would make it look like they won.
And then they didn't.
And then
you're still asleep, guys.
Yeah.
You don't even realize
Yeah.
it. Like, yeah. Do you have a favorite Freddy Krueger kill? I know it's a
No,
dark
you know
question.
what? I do have a favorite Jason Voorhees.
Oh, which one?
The couple.
Which couple?
They stabs them while they're in bed together.
Oh,
Was it like the third one?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's mid coitus.
Yeah.
That came and went.
Yeah.
That's what
big
happened.
harpoon right through you, or whatever it was.
Okay, so Freddy wins that one. Xenomorph versus Max Cady. I'm sorry, Max. Like I
It's
think
really
highly
hard
of
to
you.
beat the Xenomorph.
It's
though.
so hard. It's
Yeah.
granted, like Sigourney Weaver did it in her underwear, but she was also like in space.
Yeah.
And on Earth, I feel like that's harder. You know, it's harder. Okay, so in our next round, we have The Thing versus Chucky.
Chucky's done.
Yeah,
He's done.
Yeah, Chuck is.
Yeah.
It's very easy to replicate a doll, I think. You know, and Charles just doesn't have that kind of energy to hang with the Thing. We don't even
I mean,
know what
the
that
only
is.
argument there is that it seems like the Thing just eats up biomatter.
And because he is technically plastic, it wouldn't.
Yeah, but it's the Thing.
Yeah, I mean, because
Because Chucky's not going to beat the Thing.
no, he's not.
No.
Like at
And
best,
the Thing is going to rip apart a doll.
little pieces of doll. Just
Yeah.
especially because it's like even if the Thing is like not trying to pay attention to Chucky just being antagonistic, he's just
Yes.
like, you know what? I'm just gonna kill you now.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna kill you. This is what it is. Freddy versus the Xenomorph. Do Xenomorphs dream? Again,
No.
tricky things. I like to think that, like, and we saw in was it Alien Resurrection, that they can figure out things, that they have problem-solving skills. So I'm saying that there's some form of consciousness.
Yeah.
But no, not enough to warrant. What would a xenomorph dreamscape look like? Hell. And I don't want to go there. Like, if I was Freddy, I'd kill myself as soon as I entered it. Like, no way.
But I guess technically they have to dream or there's no fight.
Yes. So we'll dream up a story as to why they go to sleep. Because they do. No. What it is the one that was in Alien, when it got kicked out into the space and it went into hibernation, that's it going to sleep.
Sure.
And there you go. So
There you go.
but Freddy died
Yes.
trying to mess with it, because even in its dreams, it bleeds acid.
Yes.
Worse than that, it bleeds hyper acid. And that's a Venom 3 reference. So our championship round, The Thing versus Xenomorph.
So this was a really hard one.
Yeah. Yes.
Because how do you figure that one out?
Well, there's some math behind it, right? You look at it and you go, okay, who has the most kills, right? In like cinema history.
Yeah.
Obviously that's Xenomorphs,
Yep.
right? Because they have more movies than that.
Yeah.
But who can get the closest to you to kill you, right? Which kind of is the reason why The Thing has fewer kills, is because it tends to kill everybody.
Yeah.
And like there aren't people to survive to have the sequel. So The Thing is kind of the most complete killer of the bunch. So you have one who kills more, one who kills better. The winner ain't us.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is we didn't actually come up with a winner. We
No.
came up with a loser.
Yeah, yes.
And the loser is humanity.
Absolutely, we're Dunsky.
Yeah.
I do y'all understand how terrible that would be for us if those two alien species were to interact? Worst case scenario is that they team up. Best case is that they just decide to fight each other, but we still die in the aftermath, because as it tries to, I can see The Thing taking over humans to trick a xenomorph to come close to it, to either try to, grab it to get a face hugger on us, and it would just be bad.
Yeah.
It would just be bad. And I think the biggest question is, does The Thing remain singular? We only saw one The Thing, but it actually acted in multiple people at once and seemed to have like a hive mind. So again, I feel like what would happen is they would team up. It would be the worst merger than the Weyland Yakatomi one, and we would all die. And yeah, so that's our answer, ladies and gentlemen. We invite you to give your best answer here. How exactly do you think this fight would play out? The Thing versus the Xenomorph. And show your work, people. We want to hear some good stories. So if you can, retweet us, quote it. I want to hear exactly how you feel your favorite monster between this bunch would actually come out. And if you have a bracket of slashers that you want to share with us, we want to see your choices. I mean, we chose what we chose to have some fun. Obviously, it's not everybody. There's a bunch of people that I think we could have chosen, but we didn't. We didn't do any Ghostface. We didn't do any of that. So yeah, who would be on your Halloween slasher tourney champion list? And why would they lose to The Thing? Because yeah, it's so bad. The Thing versus the scene. Oh my God, we would all die. Mm-hmm. Well, if we survive, we'll see you guys next time on Into the Chatterverse, where I am still Victor Dangers, the hardest working man in comics.
And I'm Bill, and I'm okay that we just killed humanity.
Until next time, guys.